So now I want to talk to you about the characters by themselves. And you can bring up some stuff that maybe didn't get mentioned when we talked about the certain parts. So
Sure.
the first one I want to talk about is Batman. Now, I don't know how you felt about Batman from this one. I really liked him a lot. I think what a lot of what people uh benefited was because of Zack Snyder's, the stuff going on. I think that Joss Whedon wanted to make this more of a happy fun time kind of movie.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think that Zack Snyder wanted to make this more of an adult kind of darker movie. And I really
yeah. An
appreciate that a lot.
opera.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So Batman, I did enjoy him taking on a leadership role, but as far as like fighting goes, I did feel like he was kind of like, he doesn't have superpowers, but I'm like, that's the thing about Batman though. He doesn't need superpowers. I just felt like, where were all his toys this time around? Like,
right.
so I was kind of waiting for that to happen and it didn't. Um but I did also appreciate him fighting outside on the tower at the end fight sequences when everybody else was fighting Steppenwolf, because I mean he physically wouldn't be able to hold his own against him.
Yeah,
But overall, I did enjoy. I love Ben Affleck's Batman. He's probably my favorite Batman, so I really wish he would continue with this role. I don't know if he will. Now he has signed on to be in the Flash, but from what I've seen online, that's going to be like his goodbye to
yeah.
Batman, his Batman. And I hope I hope he's like, you know what, I changed my mind, because I would like to see him as Bruce Wayne and Batman more. So how do you feel about
Yes.
Batman?
Yeah. I mean, I love Batman. Like as a character, that's probably Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, and Nightwing, right? And maybe like Starfire. Like those are my top five, right? So I love Batman. I've loved Batman since I was, I think, 7.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's a great character, and Affleck does a great job. I think it's a more subtle job, actually. I know some people have been saying, "Oh, he's, whatever." Cavill and Affleck are like lifeless in this, right? It's like, no, they're not. It's just a choice. It's Snyder's choice. Like it's very not slow, but it's very subtle, very quiet almost. And then you can see, in the scenes where he's angry or not angry, but more emotional, then it comes out more, right? Um, I will say there was like, I don't think there's a couple of unintentionally funny moments. I think for me, just for me. But like where they're bringing Superman back, right? In the ship in the water, and Flash is running, and then Jason Momoa, Aquaman's like, "This is a bad idea," right? And then Batman, like, it's almost like kids talking, right? Because Batman's like, no, it isn't, just do it. Right? Like, it's like, no, stop, stop. He's like, no, do it, right? It's like so funny. Um, but yeah, I think it's a great performance. I think he's a great Batman. Like, I think when he first was announced as Batman, a lot of people were like, oh God, right? But he got into incredible shape. Um, Even that reshot scene at the end, at the lake house with Martian Manhunter, he looks good. Like he looks fit. He looks like Bruce Wayne. Um, and I think, yeah, and that's the thing. The Whedon cut was so Frankenstein. It was just such a monster, right? Like, oh, one shot, like Ben Affleck's like whatever 200 pounds, and then in another shot he's like 220 pounds, right? And it's like not a good 220 pounds. And so I do think that was one of the issues with the Whedon cut as well. Um, yeah, I think he did a great job in this, and that's one of my favorite characters. So of course he has like a boatload of screen time. But yeah, he did a great job. I really enjoyed even in the end when he's like, you know, I think the dialogue for that Batman Joker scene is very, very good. Actually, I don't know if that was Terrio or Snyder, but it's very good. I just, Leto's performance is just not, my favorite. But when he's like, choose your next words very carefully, and Joker just keeps blabbing, right? Of course. And he says, well, that wasn't very careful, right?
Yeah.
I do, but I also, I don't know. I know I should have talked about this before. Sorry, it just popped in my mind. I don't know why they would need the Joker, to be honest. I think that was a little bit like
Well, I think Zack
contrived.
Snyder said that he wanted to have an interaction between him and
Yeah,
Batman.
yeah, no, yeah. But I do
So
think like why would, in terms of story, like why would they ever break him out of Arkham or save him or bring him along, right? It's sort of, I don't know. Like
right
Joker
on,
has never been a physical presence, almost
right
never.
on. Well, you
Um,
mentioned Batman. Oh, go ahead. Finish your thought.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, you mentioned Batman having a buttload of screen time, and one character that didn't have a buttload of screen time was Superman. So why don't we talk about
Yeah,
him? I really like Henry Cavill
sure.
as Superman. I don't. It sounds like they're not gonna bring him back as Superman, which is my opinion a bad
Yeah,
idea. Um, I didn't mind the black suit, even though they didn't explain that in the comic books, the black suit is something that is a regeneration suit. It heals him.
right.
They didn't explain that, but
I think
and that's fine.
it's very, yeah, it's not explained. It's very, from just this little snippet that I saw Snyder talking about, it's very subtle of him going up to the, I don't know, the sky, I guess, or the,
Right.
atmosphere, and him sort of like posing like Jesus,
Sucking in the
and
rays.
basking in the sunlight. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's very, very subtle, very quick.
But I did like when Steppenwolf went to go stab Cyborg in the back with his axe, and like Superman like flew in and he's all like, then you call that a hit kind of thing, like just
Yeah,
giving that like, I'm about to laser your horn off, asshole.
yeah,
So I really liked that a lot, but that's really all I have to say about Superman. I mean, I have to be honest though, I didn't like the low in the Joss cut. I didn't like the whole Lois and him in the field with Martha scene. And I didn't like it in this one either. I was all like, oh, I could do without this. I'm like, I mean, I get it has to be in there, but he's all like, I'm just like, all right, you put a ring on it. Now, can we get on with this story? Because I don't want
yeah,
to see this. This isn't the life and chronicles of Lois and Clark. I was like, this is
yeah,
Justice League. Let's get to it. So,
yeah.
yeah,
But they see, I don't mind that at all because they have so little screen time in this, right? I know, like some people would be like, "Oh, it's Lois, she's sad," right? But they just have so little. I mean, Amy Adams is like, how many times has she been nominated? 5 times for an Academy Award. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very. She does have like a couple of like acting moments in this where it's very like just her face, like no dialogue, which is sort of like very challenging for an actor, which I liked because and that's very Snyder too. It's very subtle because like if it was me or maybe someone else, when she's saying goodbye to Clark, and she's also pregnant in this, I think. So it couldn't have been
yeah,
that long. She's like 3 months pregnant, maybe, or 4 months, because she's not showing. And I think so. It's only been, I guess it's less time that he's been dead, maybe only 3 or 4 months. But anyways, um, like that scene where she's at his memorial or whatever it is. Yeah, the memorial, and his head's off of that from the Doomsday fights. It's just like an acting moment for Amy Adams, and it's not very like for me. I would say something like I would write, "Oh, say goodbye here," like to give her a line, but no, it's just like acting, no dialogue, right? So, but yeah, I mean, about Superman, I mean, I love Cavill's performance. I agree with you. I think it's awful the way he's been treated the past 5 years. I wish he would, because HBO Max needs subscribers and it's more sort of niche, right? So I mean, I would like my dream now, whether it's a Man of Steel 2 film on HBO Max or series, like 8 episodes, and just give them the budget for that. Like give them $100 million for a series or a movie on HBO Max and do that, right? Um, so that's what I would do with Henry Cavill Superman. I don't think it should be goodbye to him. That's really unfortunate. But I will say, like, after hearing all that news, like, oh, it's a new Supergirl, and they're gonna cast the black Superman. I was like, you know, I mean, us as fans, right? I mean, we won. We got this film. It's almost 4 hours. There's, a couple of new scenes or extended scenes of Superman. And if this is it, that's it. So that's like, I'm glad that we got this, and if that's the end, which I don't think it will be, maybe for Henry Cavill, but uh, yeah. So for Superman, I think it's better than what we had, if that makes sense. Even though, like you said, there are a couple of Whedon lines that I don't mind. I sort of like from the Whedon cuts. That you won't let me live, you won't let me die. But yeah, he doesn't have enough screen time, and also, yeah, he's like used in the promotional material, but he doesn't have much screen time. I actually counted his screen time. Like I went through it again, the film, and he has like 17 minutes around there, around 17 minutes. And I mean, Bruce must have like 45. But yeah, I think yeah. Anyways, I just hope that we get more of him in the future. They just come to their senses and you know just give him something in between, like not just say, oh well, he'll show up in Black Adam, so that's good enough. Like I hope they give him his own, whether it's like a series, 6 episodes or 8 episodes, or just like a sequel on HBO Max. Because there's been a rumor that would happen, but rumors are rumors, right? So it's not real until it's actually real, like this film.
Right on. And one thing that was real was Wonder Woman. So I want to
Yeah,
talk about her next. I really liked Wonder Woman in this movie. I liked the fight sequence at the museum. I don't, or the courthouse. I
yeah,
thought that was great. I thought it showed her off more as a warrior. I thought that in the Joss, cut, this one's obviously longer, but I felt like this one was better. I thought that you got to see the raw power of Wonder
yeah,
Woman.
yeah,
And also I liked when she goes to the Amazon shrine or whatever it was called. And one thing my wife said was, and I noticed it before, but when she jumps down in that cave and she lands and she's wearing heels, and my wife was all like, "Oh, those heels would have broke." And I was like, straight up, and I was like, and she's wearing all white, and not one smudge of dirt is on that all white outfit. I'm all
yeah,
like, so she's got like a repelling kind of power for dirt. But my wife was all like, "Oh, those heels would have broke like so hard. They would have broke so hard." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, they would have." But it's Wonder Woman, so
yeah,
they can't break on her. But I really did love Wonder Woman. I like seeing her with her sword and shield. I know a lot of people like her just using her lasso like she did in Wonder Woman 1984, but I felt
yeah,
like with Wonder Woman, you get the Wonder Woman who's a warrior, and then you get the one like in 1984 who's like a lover, where she more like defends instead
yeah,
of attacks. And I like the Wonder Woman who's on the attack, because she's like, why would I wait for you to come to me when I can just meet you there and kick your
yeah,
ass. So I really liked her
yeah,
in this movie a lot, and I think that that character benefits under Zack Snyder's leadership more
yeah,
than she does under, say, Patty Jenkins.
yeah. I agree. I think, and that's what we've seen, right? I think Zach had more influence on Wonder Woman 1, and Patty had more influence, obviously, on Wonder Woman 84. Um, so it really depends on what you like. You're correct. But yeah, I mean, I like the warrior more, and she's saving people. By the way, she's not like, you know what I mean? She's not like beating people up for fun. She's I will say the explosion or whatever, or terrorists, like it's terrible. Obviously, like if that was real life, it'd be terrible. But even some of his dialogue doesn't make a whole lot of sense,
Yeah,
because like,
that terrorist group didn't make
yeah,
sense to me at all. Like, we're gonna bring you back to the
guys,
dark ages by destroying 4 blocks
yeah,
of this city, and I'm all like, how is that bringing them back to the dark ages? Explain that
yeah,
part to me, because I don't get your logic. Your logic is not sound at all. Already, your story's not
yeah,
tracking, asshole.
yeah.
Like,
And it was a museum because they're children visiting.
I don't know. I thought it was a courthouse because
What?
it had Lady Justice on the top of it, but at the
Oh
same
yeah,
time,
that's
I'm
okay.
the whole time I'm all like, this is just, I still didn't get it. Like, I'm glad it
Yeah,
happened because we got that cool fight sequence with her in it.
yeah,
And she totally killed that dude she threw up against the wall. Like, his brain splattered on that wall. But I was the
yeah,
whole time I'm all like, this is weird. Like, I just didn't get it. They're like, we're small as a fringe terrorist group and send us back.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
as soon as he said we're gonna send him back to the Dark Ages by destroying 4 blocks, I'm all like,
yeah,
yeah, I don't think so. That's not how that works. That's not how it works.
yeah. Doesn't make any sense, but it's just for
Yeah.
Wonder Woman to,
Yeah.
kick boots.
Take away the internet, then we'll go back to the Dark
Yeah.
Ages. That you know.
But yeah, and also Snyder. I've seen this. A lot of people say this is just Snyder makes very like even Steppenwolf, right? Well, you make your villain bad, evil, like cutting heads off and cutting people in half in Atlantis, which was awesome, I must say. I'm not a huge violence guy, but that was awesome.
Mhm.
Make your villains villains, and then the heroes will kill them.
Right on.
There's a reason for it. They're not, doing it for fun and laughs. Um, but yeah, Wonder Woman, I think I lean more towards Snyder's version, like you. Um, I think there's like massive plot issues for Wonder Woman 1984. Not so much the character, the lover. I think she should, and she is both in this as well, right? She's very like, whatever. She helps the children, obviously, saves the children. And is very like, oh, you can be whatever you want to be. And it's very feminist, like, I belong to no one, right? Like, come, right? To Steppenwolf. So yeah, I think she's awesome in this. And I think, like I said, I do like that tea scene because it sort of like shows Gal Gadot's natural charisma and sort of that energy that she has. But yeah, she's great in this film,
Right on.
but that's the thing. I think Batman and Wonder Woman benefit the least from this version, but they do benefit from it. Don't get me wrong. But because they have so much screen time in Whedon's cut, that like Cyborg benefits more, like Flash benefits more. Superman, it's about the same, right? Maybe a little bit, like 5%, or 5% better. Lois a little bit. Who's the other one? Oh, Aquaman. A little bit more too, just because they get a little bit more screen time.
Right on. And speaking of Aquaman, that's a great segue into
Yeah,
him. I love Aquaman. He is my
yeah.
favorite DC character from the
Oh,
comic
nice.
books. I've loved him since I was little. I always got
Cool.
crap over it. I will always be grateful to Zack Snyder for casting Jason Momoa and make him like this like very rock star kind of thing.
Yeah,
Very metal. One thing though in this movie is I thought Aquaman was funny in Joss Whedon's cut, but I think that he's funny in this movie, but just a different kind of funny. Like I mentioned before, I really liked that hat scene where he's all like hat A, and he's like definitely not hat A. And he's like hat B, and he's like show me hat A again and everything. I really
yeah.
liked that. That made me laugh.
That was a nice scene.
Yeah, and I liked oh, there was another one I can't remember. Like when he saved the guy, he was all like, tell him to respect the storm next time. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that's a good one too.
yeah.
So there I really liked
I,
Aquaman.
do you know what was my favorite? I
What?
liked when, I think it wasn't in the Whedon cut, when Flash is running towards Superman like this. So Superman's here, Flash is running towards him. Aquaman's coming from the
Oh
back.
yeah.
Superman just sidesteps and Flash runs into Aquaman.
Aquaman, yeah.
They both go to concrete staircase, and then Aquaman goes like this at the end, right? So sorry, I don't know if you can see my screen, but he goes like this, like he's like, oh, he looks at Barry Allen's Flash. He goes,
Yeah, that's
you,
for sure.
right?
Yeah,
That
I
was
do
great.
remember.
So good. That's like perfect Aquaman, right? It's sort of like a little bit grumpy, a little bit like a loner, like you said, but rock star, obviously. With the long hair. But like that's Snyder's genius. Like he's just like, okay, I want Ezra Miller as Flash. I want a Pacific Islander, Jason Momoa, perfect, because Jason Momoa auditioned for Batman before Ben Affleck was cast. So Snyder's like, no, you're not Bruce Wayne.
No,
That
he's
would
not
have been
Bruce
cool,
Wayne.
but you're Aquaman. And it's like, oh, of course, Pacific Islander. They had this connection with the ocean. They respect it. That's perfect for Aquaman. So it's just such good casting.
Right
And
on.
and I do think yeah, and someone has said this as well. I wish, like you said, that a different kind of funny, right? And
Mhm.
it's interesting that even Snyder's funny, like what the studio made him do, which is like I think Aquaman comes to the roof, right, with Gordon. It's in one of the trailers. I think Zack Snyder's first trailer for Justice League. This was like 4 years ago, and he was like dressed like a bat. I dig it, right?
Right
It's
on.
interesting that Snyder's like, nah.
Yeah,
Nah, I'm not gonna-"
he does mention the bat costume when
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
walking through that Icelandic village or whatever, but he doesn't say the
yeah.
whole. Does he say the "I dig it" line? I can't remember,
No,
but
no, no, he doesn't. He
yeah, and he's
doesn't.
oh yeah, like because he gets in the water, he's like dressed like a bat, but he doesn't say anything after that and everything.
No, no, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So it
no,
is interesting. Like, even Snyder's jokes, like this is pure, like this is Zack Snyder's vision after 3 years, right? When he was sort of putting the film back together, rather than saying like, oh yeah, the studio liked that joke, but I don't really like that much. Like I'm not gonna keep it. So that's really interesting.
right on.
It's a
And you
very
had
like
go ahead.
they're gonna study this film in film schools for like the next century because it's just so interesting. But yeah, he's great. He's great in this. I also like the line. I don't know if speaking about Aquaman, I like the line with the Flash where he's like, the Flash says, "I thought you didn't care," and then Aquaman says, "I never said that." Right? He said, "I want to be left alone," but
Right
there's a
on.
difference.
And speaking of the Flash, we can just move over into him. I really liked Ezra Miller as the Flash in
Yeah,
this movie a lot more. I thought that again, I thought the jokes that he had were great. I thought that explanation for certain things, like with his healing power, I liked how he was like, "Come on, Barry, heal, heal, heal," and everything. I do, like I said before, I like some of the choices that Ezra Miller made with the character. Like the meditation before running, the little touchdown thing. I really liked that a lot. And Yeah, like I said, like the resume joke was really funny,
yeah,
resume and everything.
yeah,
I did like before with with Joss Whedon's one, he's all like when he was all like brunch, what is it, lunch or is it
yeah.
breakfast or lunch? And I'm all like, yeah, everybody knows what brunch is. This is not funny. That's not funny. That's not a funny. It's not a funny joke, Joss.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, no, like I said, I thought same with Aquaman. He was funny, but yet, oh, what are you telling her? What's going down? What's going on?
Nothing. She just got me a drink. I'm like, put in
Oh,
the fridge.
gotcha. What'd she bring you? What'd she bring you?
Bubble tea.
Oh, gotcha. I don't
Yeah,
like bubble tea. I don't like drinking something and something solid coming into
yeah.
my mouth while I'm drinking a liquid. It freaks me
I
out. I'm all
It's
like,
not actually the bubbles aren't good for men. So,
oh,
but
gotcha. Because I remember one time
it's
I was at
okay.
my grandmother's, so not a part of this thing, but I was at my grandmother's one time and I was drinking grape soda and I'd set it on the counter and then I came back and a giant ant had gotten into it and had bit my
Oh
lip
man,
and I had to pull it off my lip. It was like holding on my lip. I was like, there was a fucking ant in my soda. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, am I bleeding and everything? So yeah. All right. Sorry. Crazy story. Anyways.
yeah,
Um, like I said before about Aquaman, I think that the Flash also was funny, but just a different kind of funny and a
yeah,
better funny in this movie. I thought he was
yeah.
very, very well thought out.
And the funniest scene in Whedon's cuts was Snyder's. Like almost, I think 99% or 98, whatever. Like 99% of what was good in Whedon's cut is Snyder. Like the funniest moment was when he does that little touchdown and he's running towards, when Superman's holding everyone off and he's running around Superman and Superman's eyes move. So, Superman's on his level, just a little bit slower. And like, I laughed my head off at Miller's expressions in the theatrical cut when I first watched it. And that was all Snyder because Snyder said, I'm just releasing what I filmed. Like I never watched Whedon's version. I would never use any of his footage, right? I have no, he doesn't even have access to his footage, I don't think. So yeah, that was like the funniest Flash moment was Snyder. And so yeah, he's much better. Like I said, he's just a little more serious. Shows him as more of a genius in this one, but still awkward, like you said, like a different kind of funny. And I do like I know, people give him crap for it, Snyder and his songs, but I do like that song when he's like saving Iris and he's like, and it makes sense. Although I still don't know how Superman and Lois can have babies, but anyways, like seriously, I don't understand that. But like where he like Flash
Well,
is
you
very
see,
careful
when a
with
man
Iris.
and a woman love each other,
No, I get that, but
they
the
have a
Kryptonian
they make
blood,
like a handshake, like a love
yeah,
handshake almost.
they just hug each other.
Yeah, that was in
But I like how Flash is like so careful with Iris, and sort of just letting her fall into him basically. Rather than, you're right, if he's traveling past the speed of sound or almost at the speed of light, and he like slaps you, you're dead, right? Or even pokes you, you go flying and you're like bones broken. So I know Snyder's spoken about that too. So I like that he like, some people are like, who cares, right? Like it's a superhero film. Like honestly, who cares? But I like that he thinks about that, right? So like, oh right, yeah, if he's moving that fast and he like touches someone, they'd be dead, or their arm would be broken. So
right
yeah, but
on.
he's actually, I have to say, maybe like I love Henry Cavill Superman, but I think Miller's Flash might be my favorite character in this. And I love Batman.
For
Like
sure. Yeah, no, he was
he's in my
great.
top three, I think. Like he's really great in this.
Right on. So why don't we move over to our last hero, and that is Cyborg. Now, I really liked Cyborg in this.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the Joss Whedon movie, we didn't get to see a lot of him because Joss Whedon cut him out completely. Well, not completely. I mean, cut out his story arc
His
pretty
arc.
well.
Yeah.
It was bare bones when it came to the Joss Whedon cut. I
Yeah.
really liked him. I liked his struggle with being a monster.
Yeah.
I liked, one of the things that Jeff Johns, the reason they took out Cyborg's story a lot was because they said they didn't want an angry black man to be the main
Yeah.
character of this movie. And I go, yeah, but he has a lot to be angry about. I mean, he had a father that neglected him. Then he died, lost his mother when he died. Then
Yeah.
he was going to die himself. His father
Yeah.
brought him back to life.
Mhm.
But brought him back in, you could argue that he didn't have the quality of life from before. Might even be better, being a half
Yeah.
machine.
But
But
he had to, yeah, he had to learn that, right? It's like, oh
yeah.
wait, like what I have
So
now
yeah,
is
yeah.
much better.
So I really thought this was a really fleshed out character with a story arc that could be relatable, that and was very, interesting. And I'm trying to find the words to use, but they aren't coming to me. But I like it a lot. I liked it a lot. I liked Cyborg in
Yeah.
this movie. I liked him with that vision of when he's playing his dad's tape, and he gives that woman more money. I thought that was
Yeah. Oh
touching.
yeah.
Because I'm just like, yeah, it's just Bitcoin or whatever the hell it is. It's just,
Yeah. Well,
it's
it's
not
just,
computer money. So why not give this woman
yeah,
that's,
it's not
obviously,
real money.
yeah, she's
Just
on the
just a
struggle bus
number,
as it
honestly.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was great. And I thought it was like his humanity. Like I'm not a huge cyborg guy just because I
Yeah,
never
me
read him in the
neither.
comics, and
Yeah.
if it was Teen Titans for instance, which I did read a few issues of, like I'm a Nightwing guy or a Robin guy. And his relationship with Starfire. But anyways, yeah, he's much better, much more fleshed out in this film. I thought it was touching. His performance is good. Like I think he's a theater actor, Ray Fisher. I think he started in theater, and it shows. Like this guy can act. So it's much better. I like his little relationship with Barry Allen. That friendship, I thought that was good. So yeah, and who knows what the future holds, right? I mean,
I
that,
don't know. I
that
don't know.
but that industry, I don't know. One of my favorite stories about the industry is, I don't know if you heard of this story, Matt, but they were doing a Revenge of the Nerds remake, right? This was like 10 years ago. I think Revenge of the Nerds is like 40 years old now. But so they cast everyone, they approved the script, they greenlit it, they started shooting the darn film, and a week into shooting, they were like, nah, let's not do it. Like it's insane, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just an insane business. So never say never. We thought I thought this would happen, like if we were lucky, 10 years, like in 2027, we would see the Snyder cuts. So yeah, but Cyborg's great in this. Really fleshed out, much better.
Yeah, I don't know if Ray Fisher will work again. I mean,
Yeah,
he really, I mean, and I'm on his side, but because speaking out is very, it can be hard.
yeah,
But
yeah,
sound, people can hold grudges, and when you're at the top of the food chain and you've got a grudge, uh, I do not want to be the one that you have a grudge against. So I don't know. And he blames Walter Hamada a little bit because Walter Hamada made that phone call, which was not good. But um, yeah, I don't know. Cause like, I mean, the signs to me are being pointed out there. Like they took him out of the Flash movie, which I wish
yeah,
they
yeah.
hadn't do it. They're going to make a Blue Beetle movie. I don't know if you've seen the news about that,
Yes,
but
yes, I
Blue
saw.
Beetle is like almost like Cyborg, except it's alien technology. So they're pretty much like the same thing. They've got like
Yeah,
arms coming out and stuff. They make guns out of their arms. So I'm all like, are they going to replace Cyborg with Blue
yeah,
Beetle? I don't know. We'll see though. But I do hope that Ray Fisher and his Cyborg gets to be in more movies.
yeah. I mean, like I said, we'll see what happens in the next few weeks slash months. I think things can change. I mean, I'm hoping they change for Cavill and Amy Adams for that matter. Affleck, of course, but you know, I think Fisher definitely has some. Like you said, he spoke out about it, which is brave. But I do think the way he went about it was a little not bright. But that's just my opinion.
Right on. So now I just want to talk about the villains real quick and your
Sure, sure.
thoughts on them. Um, Joker, how did you feel about Joker? I know you'd mentioned it before. Personally, I liked Joker a lot.
Yeah,
I thought that David Ayer on his set, it was very much like, hey, why don't you improvise a little bit? And I don't think Jared Leto is that kind of actor. I think that he benefits from lines, script. I know some people might benefit from improvising, but I don't think Jared Leto is one of them. I think that when you give him a script and I think that's the great thing about Zack Snyder is he's very detailed and he knows what he wants
yeah,
from his actors. And I think that that's where Jared Leto benefits from because he's that type of actor. And I don't think that David Ayer understood that.
yeah,
So I loved the Joker in this one. It made me go, I want to see more of Jared Leto because
yeah,
I liked it when Superman shows up and Joker's sitting on that half bridge highway thing, and he's just like he didn't say it, but I felt like he was just like, all right, well, this is happening. And he just starts laughing. Like he's like, what else are we gonna do besides laugh about this? Because it's crazy bonkers. So I really
yeah.
liked
And we're
I re-
dead.
yeah, I really
Like
liked
we're dead.
seeing that. I hope they all didn't die. I hope to see more of it. So what do you think about Joker? Real quick.
I think it's better. Like the look is better. Like the aesthetic is better. I think Snyder's just a better. He's a better director in terms of camera work than Whedon. He's a better artist than Ayer. Like Ayer's very like workman like, right? He's very like he learned the craft. I don't think he has that much talent to be honest. But
I agree.
yeah, and Ayer's not that good of a director. I
I
don't think.
agree.
Like he's very like I do like I like the purple for Suicide Squad. I like the purple whatever it is trench coat that Joker had. It's much more rock star Joker, which is cool. Like that's a cool take. But like anyone, like that's the thing about it's funny like the because I think we can all hate the studio and suits and whatnot, right? But it's so funny like when the suit like I always say this like suits like when you should say something you don't say anything and when you shouldn't say anything you say something. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like that stupid damage tattoo on his forehead, like someone should have said no. That's not happening, sorry. We own Joker, the character, the movie character. You don't own Joker, Ayer, sorry. So I wish they said something about that, but anyways, I think the aesthetic is better here. I think his acting for the most part is good. I don't like the laugh. um but yeah,
What
he's
did
sort
you
of on the
think?
bottom of my priority list
Mm-hmm.
for more Jared Leto. I think that's actually more likely. I've heard that rumor as well. I don't know if you've heard it, but like a Joker series with Snyder. I don't know if he would direct it. I don't know if that's his style, but maybe produce it with Jared Leto. So I've heard that rumor. I think that's actually pretty likely because I don't think it would cost that much. And Leto wants to do it. I don't know if Affleck wants to come back. But yeah, I thought it was a good scene. I did like that nightmare sequence, like Mara and Cyborg and Flash are there. That was cool. Oh, and Deathstroke.
Right on. So what did you think about Steppenwolf in this movie? I liked Steppenwolf a lot better in this movie.
Yep.
He was kind of cute. He kind of looked like a little turtle, like with his little face. And I was like, oh, I got very much Star Trek Beyond, those little creatures at the opening sequence, those aliens. I got some of those vibes from it.
I thought about that. I remember now. I forgot that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I liked like I said before, I liked him, trying to gain favor with Darkseid and I liked that whole storyline, and I felt that was way better for this movie.
Yes, yeah. Like you said, I do think they should have explained a little bit more. Like maybe like Darkseid is they say my lord. Maybe they should have said, like Desaad should have said, you betrayed your brother or something like that, right? Or like, oh, okay, Darkseid's, the big brother and this is the little brother. Right, Steppenwolf. That would have been cool. It might be implied, but yeah, I like him more in this film. I think the design is better. I like the spiky costume that he has. I think he has more motivation, like you said. Like he wants to be redeemed. I almost, if he wasn't such a horrible villain, I almost felt bad for him, right? When he's just getting his butt whooped by the Justice League, I was like, oh, I sort of feel bad. I always had this soft spot for villains, even though he's like this big creature. And I know he's gonna lose, obviously, but he does. He earns it. He kills a lot of Amazons and Atlanteans and whatnot. So he does earn it. I think it's better in this film. His motivation and whatnot. I don't know if it's, like some people are saying, oh, it's my favorite villain. I wouldn't go that far. But I do like him better in this film. And he's very effective. Like, I like that he's like, the way he moves, it is like a charging bull. It's very pleasing to watch. And I like that he's so powerful. And yeah.
Right on. So let's real quick.
Better.
Right on. Let's real quick talk about the inhabitants of Apocalypse, Darkseid, Granny Goodness, and Desaad. Now, I don't really know how I feel about the look of Desaad. I felt like his little collar was a little too big. But I did like his look.
Yeah.
I loved Granny Goodness's look. A lot of people are saying Judi Dench on there, that she looks a lot like Judi Dench. I loved it. I thought she looked great.
Short hair.
Yeah. I love that whole lesbian haircut that she had going on. I thought that was great. I think Darkseid looked great. I loved that they all had like this kind of armor that kind of looked all of it like it was made in one place, aka Apocalypse. So I really liked that a lot. And I really hope that we get to see him. I hope Ava DuVernay does not make her New Gods movie, because I don't think she knows how to do anything correctly. But I do hope that somebody knows how to handle these characters right and does it right.
What did she just direct? I haven't seen any of her work, to be perfectly honest, so I can't comment on that. I know Wrinkle in Time was disappointing from what I heard.
Oh, yeah, so bad.
But I guess she's like a documentary director, right?
Well, she did. I don't know if any of the documentaries, if she's directed any of them, but she did Salma, which was a good movie. She also did a miniseries for Netflix called
right.
That was about
the 13
the Central Park 5.
Yes. No, you're right.
I didn't see that, but she did A Wrinkle in Time, which was pure crap. And so she's doing New Gods, and she's writing with Tim King. Now, I don't think that he did write he does write comic books, but I'll never forgive him for what he did to Batman. But
I have no idea.
Yeah, he handled their wedding, him and Catwoman's wedding,
Okay.
and it sucked. It was bad. It was a bait and switch. They honeypotted us and then they tore it out from underneath us. He's a dick. Anyways, but I don't think that they know how to handle action sequences in the comic books
No,
very well.
not
So
like
I don't
Snyder.
yeah, and I don't think that there are some good things in his comic book, and everything, but not enough that and all the stuff that I liked from his comic book, I don't think will work on in a movie, maybe in a TV
Yeah.
series, but it's just not, um, in my opinion, cinematic enough for.
Okay.
And I don't think that Ava DuVernay has the talent to do it. I think she's crap, but I don't think she can handle it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What did you
Well,
think about
I
these
mean,
characters?
and that's the thing. Sorry, just to piggyback off what you said. I mean, they announced New Gods in what was it? I think 2017,
Yeah,
2018. Nothing's happened.
right
So
on.
I wouldn't worry about it. This is Warner Brothers we're talking about. Like, you know, every DC film they make is like a small miracle.
Right on.
Um, they just, I honestly, yeah, I I don't know how you work like as the head of a company. And it's just like, oh, let's just have meetings every week and not do anything.
Right on.
Um, but yeah, sorry, what was the question? The three. Okay. I thought Granny Goodness, the look was great. I really like the look. I like that she's like sort of solemn in this from what we've seen, or like more serious. Like she's very like, yeah, it's very Snyder, right? Um, because I think in some of maybe like Superman the animated series, which like was the only like thing I've seen Granny Goodness in, except for like a couple of comic panels, is like she's very like she has that like bizarre voice, right? Like that man voice. And she's like, whatever, I can't even do it. But she's like, not silly, but sort of more kiddie, I guess. And I think I do like Desaad's look. I like that his voice is different, like a little bit lighter than Steppenwolf and Darkseid. Like it's more sort of like that worm, right? Like he's like a worm. Like he's like that like, oh, I told you, right? Like I told you he could like Steppenwolf would fail, right? It's sort of like that sort of like a worm tongue from Lord of the
Oh,
Rings.
right on.
Yeah. And I love Darkseid's voice. I wish we got more. I know it's just like a appetizer before the sequel, but yeah, and he looks great. I think he looks great. Maybe a little bit, I don't know, maybe obviously CGI, but yeah, I think he looks great. I like the design. I'm not a huge comics guy. I know he's the big bad, like he is Superman's well, Doomsday, but he is like Superman's most intelligent, most vicious villain. And so I would love to see, yeah, I mean, I would love to see a Justice League sequel with him and Superman and Batman and Affleck and everyone. So we'll see what happens. But I think aesthetically they look great.
Right. So, while watching this, how many breaks did you take?
Okay, so this is probably why it had no effect on me, the length. Um, so I watched Force because this is what Snyder said to do. So I wanted, like, my plan even before the release date was, oh, I'll watch it over 2 nights. So I watched the first 4 parts. So I think it's 2 hours and 20 minutes in one sitting. But I had like every time parts. So I watched like the prologue and part one, and I'd be like, okay, pause, and I go get a snack and come back. So there's like a 1 minute pause, and then I took like 24 hours off basically because I watched it at night. So then I watched parts 5, 6, and 7 on Friday last night. So I finished it in 2 sittings. So that's also possibly why I can't comment on like a 4-hour sitting, the length of it. Like I never like I've watched superhero films where I'm like, this is so boring. Like X-Men Apocalypse. I don't know if you've seen that one. Um,
Of course
yeah,
I have.
yeah, that one's like super boring. Like it's really bad, really bad. Yeah, so like watching that, and I think it's 2 hours that film, but there are scenes in that where I'm like, oh my god, like it just keeps going. It's horrible. It's so boring. But yeah, so I never felt that way throughout any of this, throughout the 3 hours and 52 minutes or whatever it is. I never felt like this is boring. Like this is so boring. Now I will say there are, like you said, the Icelandic women singing. Uh, I don't know. Do we need it? Maybe not. Um, I do think like even Peter Jackson's Return of the King, which I watched like less than 6 months ago, that one's I think legitimately 4 hours and 2 minutes. Like, could it be 3 hours and 45 minutes? Yeah, I'm. Yeah, it could be. I think Snyder's cut could be 3 hours and 45 minutes as well. So that's like an extra. What is that? 7 minutes? Yeah, I mean, you could cut out a little bit. So that's what I've noticed from like 4 hour cuts. Like,
Right on. Right on.
that's just me though. Like, I know some
So,
people are like, no, every line must be there.
right on. So out of the all of seven, all seven parts of this movie. By the way, I only took one break my first sitting.
Yeah.
Uh
So
so
you what was your break?
at the 2 hour mark, that's when I took a break. I don't remember what
Okay.
scene it was. I'm trying to remember now off the top of my head what it was, but it wasn't even the end of a part. Because I remember I was like, oh, I'll wait until the end of this part. And then I was like, oh no, I gotta pee. And then I went and peed and I grabbed like a
Yeah, yeah.
glass of water. And then I was like, all right, let's get into this. So yeah, it was 2
Okay, so it was
hours.
just like it was just
Yeah.
a 2 minute break.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Because I was like, oh, we're finishing this. So my next question is, out of all seven parts, which part was your favorite?
So did you ever feel sorry, Matt? So did
No.
you ever feel throughout that, because you only took a 2 minute break? So did you ever feel like throughout the runtime where you're like, yeah, we don't need this, or like it's a little like, verging on, slow?
No, not my first time watching it. I was just like, when I took that break, I was like, oh, I need to hurry this up because I just wanted to watch it. It was
Yeah,
so good. So
yeah.
I went in real quick and then back at it. So
Okay.
yeah. So what was your favorite part out of those seven parts that
I
Joss
think
that
uh
go ahead.
my favorite parts was probably, just going through them. I think the epilogue is a bit odd, to be honest. Like, it's very like, that dream sequence that Bruce has. Like, I know people are going crazy over it and love it, and I'm sure I'll come to love it as well. I do think it's a bit odd. Um, uh, Probably I have to say probably all the King's horses, because I think that was the most Superman centric part, maybe, but also just overall that final battle sequence is better. It's just more time. I think it has a few more minutes on it, and the color scheme is better. Batman's kicking booty. Yeah, Wonder Woman's like slicing these like parademons in half, right? Like, blood's everywhere. Um, yeah, so I do like that sequence. I will say, I think, what we said before, very quickly. I do think maybe don't count on a Batman, even though I love Batman. I think that's probably the weakest one. Um, and then they all sort of get better as it goes. Like, I remember watching like part one and two, and I'm like, oh no, it's good. And then like three and four, I was really like, oh no, it's really good. Like, this is really good. Like, I'm gonna pause here and I'm gonna finish tomorrow because I want to savor it. So that's how I felt about it. What about you?
I liked Change Machine Part 4. I
Nice.
really like the Star Labs scene. I really
Yeah.
like that a lot. So um yeah, that was my favorite part overall. Is Part 4.
Cool. Cool.
Um, what was your favorite scene though?
Oh gosh. Uh, I think.
Here, I'll tell you my favorite scene. My
Okay.
favorite scene was the history lesson. I loved that scene.
Right.
I actually liked it from the Joss Whedon cut.
Yeah,
I
I
like
liked
the
it there.
history scene.
Yeah,
I really
I
liked
liked it
and
there as well.
yeah, I think that I just liked like I like seeing the Green Lantern show up and you
Yeah.
got to see that. I liked seeing the Greek gods.
Yeah.
I'm just more curious about that kind of aspect of it. Like,
Yeah.
are they like from the comic books? In some iterations from the comic books, they're actually interdimensional aliens. They're from a different dimension, but they're just aliens. Um,
Yeah.
so I just but I did like the history lesson. I really liked this one a lot because it was dark side. I liked
Mhm.
seeing him
Yeah.
as in the comic books, though he starts off as like U6 or something like that. I can't remember his name or whatnot, but
Yeah.
he's not dark side right off the
Oxen.
bat. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. So yeah, no, I liked the history lesson. That was my favorite scene.
Oh, awesome. Um, I think maybe for me it was probably Barry Allen going back in time, for
Very
the Flash
cool.
going back in time, for the final one with all that whatever, like the
And
blue light.
Cyborg's head like coming together.
Yeah, yeah, like Superman's coming together the bones and
Yeah,
Cyborg.
when my wife watched that, she's like, "You didn't watch this in front of the kids," and I was like, "What kind of a parent do you think I am?"
Yeah, I will say it's
No,
a
I'm just joking. I
little.
didn't let my kids watch it. Please don't call CPS.
No, no, no. I will say it's a little. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I wish we could maybe get halfway between Snyder and Jenkins, if that makes sense,
Hmm.
for Wonder Woman. Like,
Hmm.
because I think 1984 is not really for like 5-year-olds, anyways, um, or 4-year-olds. But maybe that, like, people will. I don't want to make it about Marvel or versus DC, but like maybe that Infinity War / Endgame, like that hard PG-13. Um, but yeah, I mean, I do feel bad that, like, because I have a student who's a big Superman fan, actually. Um, and it's too bad he won't be able to watch this, just because the parents will see that rated R, and by the time he, whatever, 12 or 13, he's only like 8 now. So by the time he turns 12 or 13, and his parents are like, okay, who cares? Just let him watch it. He might not be a fan anymore, right? So that's too bad. I mean, for the kids, and by kids I mean like 12-year-olds. Um, but yeah, I mean, that was my favorite scene. I think the music really comes together in that scene, and Junkie XL's score is just better. Like, it's just Elfman's score, and Elfman, like,
What kind of a name is Junkie XL? What are you, 12? Calm it
I think
down.
his real name is like Tom Holkenberg, and it's like Swedish, so he was just like, nah, screw that, right?
Yeah, but like, how do you address him? Like, hey, Junkie, what's up? Like, what is
Yeah,
that? What is that? Ugh.
but he's so good. He did the score for Mad Max Fury Road, so it's
Right,
very like,
right
rough stuff.
on.
So
I'd make
it was
fun of
so much
him.
better. And Elfman, I don't know what he was on, or maybe Elfman's just, I think he's like 70 now, so maybe he's not that good anymore. I hate to be ageist, but like Elfman
Oh,
did the
no, go
Simpsons theme.
ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, Elfman did the Simpsons theme. He did the X-Men theme from the 90s. Like, incredible music, right?
Right.
And for this film, I don't know if he had like 2 weeks or whatever it was, but he just didn't do a good job.
Well, maybe
Uh,
he's like Hans Zimmer. Like Hans Zimmer is just he's
yeah,
so busy that everybody's like, oh, it's just the same thing over and over again. It's like, well, yeah, because he's constantly doing stuff. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure there's some kind of overlap. So maybe,
yeah,
maybe this guy, this old guy, he had the same thing. Like he's just like, I'm so old, I don't know what to do. Let's just do this.
yeah, yeah.
It worked 20
Um,
years ago. It'll work
yeah,
again.
exactly. So yeah, I just think that's my favorite scene.
Right
I thought it
on.
was really well done.
So you had mentioned it before, and I'm going to ask you now. Did you see the storyboards for Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3? And if
Yeah,
so, what did you think about those and that story going
yeah, I
forward?
would love to hear what you have to say about it. I'm presuming you read them.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I read them. I was sweating when I finished reading those. It was I love storyboards, and I love like artwork, and actually Zack Snyder's drawings, like, they're not like, he's not like Van Gogh or anything, but I mean, I like his drawings, like, they're very cute. I really like them. They're a little simple, but yeah, they're super cute. But anyways, um so I like his storyboards, actually. I know that's how he works too. Like, he storyboards the whole film. Um, and this Jim Lee did these ones on these what are they called? Not Bristol board. They're what are they called? Boards, anyways.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I did read it. There was a little, the person who posted them on Twitter. I mean, there was a spoilers tag, fake him, but I was like, you know what? The story has changed. This is like they did this 5 years ago, literally 5 years ago. So it's very the spoilers aren't really spoilers, if that makes sense. Like the story won't be the same. I think Snyder revealed a little bits in this one, pulled the curtain back. So I don't know how much he would do for the second one, if we do see it. But yeah, I think they're like fascinating to read. I do think the ending is a little bit quick. Like they're just like, okay, whatever. That's the ending, right? But yeah, I would love to hear what you have to say about it first, and then I'll respond to that.
Well, I liked one thing that I really liked a lot was Lex Luthor bringing together villains
Yeah,
from each movie to
yeah,
form his
that was
Legion of
awesome.
Doom, if you will. And I really
Yeah,
liked his idea of using the Riddler to figure out the
yeah,
life equation. I was like, oh my goodness, that makes so much sense that the Riddler being this, enigma guy trying to figure out puzzles and riddles and stuff would be the one that you would try to get to figure out the
yeah,
life equation. I really liked
yeah.
that a lot. I would have liked, I mean, I understand this was before Wonder Woman 1984, but I would like to see Cheetah again in his
Yeah,
Legion of Doom, because I didn't really care for Dr. Poison from Wonder Woman number
yeah.
one, but at the same time, that's not a deal breaker for me. But I really did like
Well,
his idea for this Legion or Injustice League, whichever one he was going to call it. I hope he calls it the
yeah.
Legion of Doom. I like that a lot better.
I like Legion of Doom. I think Injustice League's a little boring, but he might do Injustice League just because it's more realistic.
Right
Um,
on.
but yeah, I like the gathering the villains and planning and plotting. Um, uh, it is very bare bones, I think, because it's like, what is it, like less than 10 pages, right, for 2 movies.
Yeah, it was
So
like
it's
12. It was 12.
yeah. Oh, there you go. Thank you, thank you. But I like
Mm.
most of it. I like the world coming together again to beat Darkseid one more time.
Right on.
That was
Yeah.
awesome. I do like. I know people go like insane over the Nightmare World. I don't go insane for it. I like it. I I think from
One
Batman
thing
v
I
Superman, if he
well
was
the
jumping this
go ahead.
into this 2-part Justice League film, um, actually I think this is 2 and 3, right? And then
Yeah, well,
this.
I think he called it Justice League 2 and then 2A or
Oh,
something
there
like
you
that. I can't
go.
remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I think like when I first read it, I think the storyline of Bruce and Lois is god awful. It's really bad,
Yeah,
like
I do
really
not
bad,
like that. I
like
don't like that.
really awful.
Yeah, I don't like that they had a baby and
Yeah, it's
everything. And then
and,
Superman's like got to take care
and
of
people
it.
are, yeah, it's very like, well, and then like after thinking about it, I was like, okay, well people were like, oh, he's a cuckold or whatever, but
Yeah, I heard that a lot.
he's sort of not in a way to defend Snyder because he was dead, right?
Right.
So he wasn't alive. So they didn't actually cheat, sort of. But yeah, I really despise that storyline. Like that's probably one of the only good decisions WB made in terms of the I guess the past 8 years since 2013, I guess 2012, right, when they started making Man of Steel. Like this new generation of DC films. Like that's probably one of the only good things they did,
Right
was
on.
saying, like hearing that idea and be like, no, like
Yeah.
no, Snyder, that's not happening. Okay.
Yes. And I do
Um,
think he rectified it in this movie with the pregnancy test, inner
yeah,
war and
yeah.
everything.
Well,
And
Bruce says it, right? He's like, congratulations, by the way.
mm,
So that's what I'm saying. If she's not showing, then it must only be like 2 or 3 months.
right on. And another thing that I did not like in those storyboards
Yeah.
was, and I didn't like it in the comic books either, when Wonder Woman becomes the god of war. I know that was also a vision. I believe it was a vision in the storyboards, but I don't like that storyline in the comic books, and I don't like it
Snyder
now.
Snyder loves his visions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it if it is a vision, but I didn't. Who did she? Oh, she killed Superman in the
He
vision.
killed Super, but
Yeah,
I think I don't think she was evil. I think she killed Superman because he was evil, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because I read them like right when they came out.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and there's a
Yeah,
lot to process since then.
yeah,
It's been like 2 weeks, I think, or something like
yeah.
that. So I'm all like, I'm trying to remember. But one thing I did like, I thought it would have been epic to see that
Yeah.
end battle with the Green Lanterns and, the Atlanteans and all those other people come together. I just thought
Yeah.
that would have been really,
And the
really fun.
military and like
Yeah, it would just,
whatever bomber planes or whatever.
yeah, it would have just been very cool to see that.
Yeah. That's
It was
awesome.
very
Like
great in
not
scope.
like, I think the Bruce and Lois storyline is so horrible and it's throughout the whole thing, but I do think like Bruce sacrificing himself is good. Like him dying is good. Like I know some people like online like, oh, I hate when he dies, right? Or whatever. But I'm like, yeah, but it's cool, right? Because he's a man. And I do like that Superman like saves them. I do like that the ending of Justice League 2, Diana and Arthur die, right? Like I think that's awesome. Like that's really brave to like, you know, have them sort of say those. It's sort of very Endgame. I don't know if you watch Infinity War and Endgame. Sorry, I'm presuming you did.
Oh yeah. If it's a comic book movie,
Yeah,
I've
those are
seen it.
films. Yeah, but yeah, it is very like Infinity War Endgame, which
Right on.
is that's the thing. Like Marvel's so fast, right? I mean, relatively fast, and DC is just so, or Warner Brothers is so slow. Like they're so slow.
What did you
But yeah, I like the overall arc of it,
Mhm.
but I do like that it is rectified. Like I would see this one. Like I wonder what I'm so curious to see what the sequel would be. So would like Darkseid, fry Lois Lane while she's pregnant? Because that would be super traumatic. Um, yeah, that's really like in 6 months because Darkseid's like, we will use the old ways. So I'm guessing they're just gonna use a ship and like
Yeah.
fly to Earth. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm
But that would take time because they're
right
on a
on.
different planet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean those boards, I love the like Snyder said, it's a fascinating and cool look at it. So I always like behind the scenes things like that. So that was really fun. I just hate that one storyline, but I like the villains coming together. I like the Riddler. I like Batman and Lois doing detective work separately.
Mhm.
I like that like there's even that opening sequence where they're like, oh, it's a natural disaster and they just save people. Like that's awesome. That's all
Right
awesome.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was your favorite character in this movie?
Um, like I said, I think of course I like Superman, of course I like Batman, but I have to say in this film, I have to say Barry Allen, Flash.
Gotcha. Right on.
You?
It was Batman. Batman's awesome. Yeah.
Nice,
I
nice.
mean, Aquaman is my favorite character of all time, but I really like Batman in this movie. Did a great job.
Yeah.
That's why I really, really want Ben Affleck back to do more. I really want
Yeah.
Batfleck. So yeah, I hope they make it. But Wonder Woman was a close second. Wonder Woman was a real close second. But
Yeah, they're all sort of close because I just love the actors and their portrayals. So,
yeah,
but I think in the film, Barry Allen for me in this film.
yeah, for
I mean, of
sure.
course, overall, like I like Batman and Superman more.
Now going forward, I didn't write this down when I sent it to you, but going forward with the restore the Snyder cut, what are some projects that you definitely want to see going forward after today? If you could pick pretty much anything, what would you like to see?
So I have this little I don't know if you visit this I know you're on Twitter, but there's this not website, sorry, this Twitter page, what's on HBO Max. And so they listed all the possible projects going forward from the Snyderverse. So I just want to put that up really quickly and I'll read them to you. And you tell me, what do you think? But for me, I think, let me just go here. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. So this is what he said, okay? Because I just read this last night. projects that can be greenlit after the Snyder Cut. Number 1, Ben Affleck's Batman. 2, Deathstroke series. 3, Jared Leto Joker series. 4, Ray Fisher Cyborg movie. 5, Justice League 2 and 3. 6, Wonder Woman 3 with Zack Snyder as a producer. 7, Man of Steel 2. 8, Martian Manhunter miniseries. And 9, Ayer's Suicide Squad cut, the Ayer cut. So I would say for me, number 1 would be Man of Steel 2, or a Man of Steel sequel series. Like, I even think bring in the new Supergirl. Like, why separate them, right? Like, have her cameo in that series, or forget cameo, have her be a supporting character, right? To Superman's story. And like, my idea would be, sorry, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. I was gonna say I agree with you 100%. I thought I unmuted myself. When they're going through the ship and there's that open pod, and
Yeah.
Zack Snyder has mentioned that before, but then they had the one pod that had a dead body in it, and the Flash was all like looking at it like ew and everything. But the open pod could totally be Supergirl. She's just all somewhere off on her own. So
yeah, or she could be frozen in the ice, just Captain America, right?
yeah, and
Like,
there was
how did she survive for 1,000 years? She was
right
frozen.
on.
Okay, bye. Right? Like,
whatever.
And
there was rumor that in the newest Suicide Squad movie, that they're like going to get this power that one of the rumors was that the power was going to be Supergirl. But that's not the case now. I don't want to give anything away in case you haven't read anything, but
sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm grateful that we got, this cut. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either way, to be honest. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's no more, or if there is more. I think they do want to do something with Snyder. Like, I just think he's too bad.
Was Man of Steel the only movie that you wanted to see?
So number 1 would be Man of Steel for me, a sequel. With
give me your top 3. Go.
Okay, so Man of Steel with Henry Cavill, a sequel series or a sequel movie. I want number 2 for me would be Justice League 2, because that would include Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck, hopefully, because Snyder's not recasting, that's for sure.
Right on.
So that would be number 2, and number 3, I would actually, you know what? I would say a Deathstroke series.
Gotcha.
With Joe. I think he's.
I'm just gonna throw in Justice League 3 with your Justice League 2, because if you make 2, you gotta make 3.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll
that's
just
what I
throw that in
mean.
there.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
That's what I mean. So his Justice League trilogies.
Because
I think, like, while I would love, like, I want the focus to be on Cavill Superman. I think he's been mostly wasted so far. I mean, Man of Steel is pretty good, or very good, but I still think he's been wasted for the past 5 years. So that's my number 1, but you're right. Number 2 would be Justice League 2 and 3, because then we could get the whole band back together, and that would include everyone, including Martian Manhunter. So we don't need a Martian Manhunter series. And then more characters like Mira and maybe even Supergirl could join. And then 3, I think a Deathstroke series would be pretty darn cool, because it's not really super expensive. Like, you need a very good fight choreographer, but other than that, it could be really like gritty, right? It could be done really quickly. So those are my top 3. What about you?
Oh, Batfleck is definitely number 1, and I want that with Jared Leto's Joker from this movie. So I want Zack Snyder to direct it, or someone Zack Snyder-esque. Justice League 2 and 3, I need those, and everything. And then because
was it an Affleck movie or an Affleck series?
It was a movie, but if they did a series, I'd be fine with that also.
Yep.
Because a 6-episode series is a 6-hour movie, and Daddy's in for that.
Yeah.
Justice League 2 and 3. It doesn't have to be exactly like those storyboards. In fact, I do like that. In fact, Zack Snyder said in an interview with YouTuber Grace Randolph, which I will link up here in the iCard section, he did say that he has a 13th storyboard that he will not release to the public, and that includes Jared Leto's Joker and an evolution of the story. Um,
Yeah.
and since you said Man of Steel 2, because Man of Steel 2 was my third one, but I just want to say I really want a Black Canary series with
Oh yes, yeah,
with Smollett playing Black Canary. I really liked her in Birds of Prey. I didn't like that movie, but she was I did like all the characters, the three main ones, and I did like
yeah.
her Black Canary uh a lot. So
I've
I would like to see
I've heard
her.
that. Yeah, I've heard that quite a bit online. That chatter, like, give her a series or give
Yeah.
her and Huntress series on
Yeah.
HBO Max.
Yeah. Don't bring that Montoya woman in there because she sucked. I didn't like her character at all. Don't
I
want
didn't
her.
watch it. I can't comment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, don't waste your time. It's garbage. Um, well, watch it. There's some good things in there. It's just not the best movie on the planet. So,
yeah, yeah.
so yeah. So
I
those are
hear
my
you.
three. Did you want to give any final thoughts on this?
Yeah. I mean, my final thoughts are: it happened. We won that battle.
Yeah, suck
It's
it,
very.
haters.
I will say so. Zack Snyder's Justice League is very, very good. Um, is it excellent? I mean, that's up to you, right, to decide. I think each person will have their own
No, there's a
opinion
correct
on
answer. It's excellent.
that. I think everyone will have their own opinion on that. So my opinion is that it's very, very good. I'm glad to have seen it. His vision. Um, it is a bizarre journey, I will say. Um, like you said, there's maybe one or two lines from the Whedon cut that could have been in this. That we don't mind. But yeah, overall, I'm just glad that, look, people got it right. Like, all the actors, had their performances portrayed, accurately or from what the director wanted, and yeah, that's about it. So we should be happy with it. Um, I will say I don't think this is the end. I don't think so. I just think it's. I think Snyder's right now. He's not peaking, but he's just. And this is one of his highest rated films, critically, right? I mean, I think a lot of critics don't like him, or his films. I mean, and I think it has 75 or 74 on Rotten Tomatoes now. And I know people don't care, but I'm just saying. So I think AT&T and Warner Media will not let him go. I think there will be an offer, and yeah, it's not the end, that's for sure. I'd be shocked, actually. I would be not shocked, but I would be surprised if Warner Media, which owns Warner Brothers now, is like, nah, we don't want. That's good. We're done, right? Like, just from like the hype and people saying like this has to continue, right? Like thousands of people saying, or tens of thousands of people saying this should continue, right? I don't think they'll let it go, and they need content, quite frankly. Like you said, like an Affleck series, a Cavill series, a Black Canary series. Why not? Honestly, why not? Right? Like,
Absolutely.
you're a $1 billion company. Figure it out. And
Right
I
on.
mean, of course, don't be stupid. Don't like say, oh, we're gonna spend $500 million to get Affleck, and you know what I mean. But I think the bigger question, I don't know if you agree, but the bigger question is, why I'm really glad to have this film, and I don't want to be greedy. I think the bigger question is, will they actually do the multiverse and keep this on HBO Max, like the Snyderverse on HBO Max exclusively, and just be like, we'll have to see the numbers. Maybe they'll release some numbers and see how they are, because if they're, I can see it being like, oh, the numbers are good, but they're not that good, right? Or, yeah, we got new subscribers, but not that many, right? They might wait until Godzilla versus Kong and see what happens there, right? Like the previous 48 hours or 72 hours before that film hits, and see, well, how many do we get for that? And compare them. But I think, yeah, I don't think it's the end. And I think, yeah, we'll get more. But it might just be, and Snyder's a human being, so he can't do like 10 projects at the same time. I mean, direct. So he can only produce so much. So I think he might take a producer role for some of them. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So I'm very curious to see what happens in the future. I mean, hope we get some news on this week, this coming week, from Monday to Fridays at some point. I hope they say something. But it is like, I know I'm rambling here. It is sort of like I said, it's sort of a bit of an odd situation. I know they can sort of explain it away with the multiverse and just keep it on HBO Max. So like the Snyderverse will continue on HBO Max. Maybe that's all they'll say, and then we have to wait like 6 months for more. Because I don't, yeah, I mean, it is a lot of money, right? So I don't think they'll just say, okay, Zach, here's 200 million. Do a Justice League 2 right now. I don't think Snyder would do it right now, right? I think he'd be like, okay, guys, I'm gonna go on vacation, and then I'll come back. So yeah, that's it. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there is a correct answer on this. I'm sorry. This movie was excellent. If you're somebody that doesn't like it, then I'm sorry you have a character flaw. But, I do think that Zack Snyder is an auteur filmmaker. And I think that this is definitely something that we needed, because I think that it speaks to, the problems that goes on with a film. And I think that the problems on this film are now dealt with, and I think that moving forward, they'll see that Zack Snyder is the answer to some problems that they have with the DCEU.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my
And they,
last one.
sorry, Matt, and just very quickly, and they created this problem.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Warner
They
Brothers doesn't know what they're doing. They're stupid.
they didn't have to. Now, I've heard this as well. I wouldn't agree with this, but it actually would have been better, for Warner Brothers. If you really wanted to, they should have fired him before he even shot Justice League, right? So that's one way to solve it, which I would not be happy with. So that's one option. Or number two, they should have just let him finish it, right? And say, hey, you need 6 months to be with your family? Fine. We'll delay it by 6 months. Okay? But you have to promise to come back and finish it. And of course he would say, okay, fine. And then release it there, and that would be done with. So they created this problem. I mean, I don't, I'm not huge like, oh yeah, we should bully them, right? And like, swear at them. I'm not a huge, believer of that. But yeah, I mean, they created this problem. So, but as you said, it's solved now. So we'll see what happens in the future. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. I really appreciate it always. Comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you to Matt for having this conversation with me.
Absolutely.
One of the best parts of when I first started this YouTube channel, I had no idea what to expect, to be honest. But just meeting people like Matt and just interacting on Twitter with random strangers, to be honest, and just having civil conversations, it's awesome. It's the power of the internet, basically. So thank you, Matt. I know I always talk too much, but thank you for listening. And yeah. And we got it. We got the Snyder Cut. We watched it. We enjoyed it. It happened. And it happened, in less than 5 years. So that's awesome.
Right on.